So the day has finally come, Mr. Alex. You made a mistake. The roles have changed and I am your boss now, Mr. Alex. Remember when you complained how I easily drift away in meetings and I lose my focus?
Dalibor, it's your turn.
Yes, sorry, Alex, the boss. I drifted again. Today I will be working.
We start our day with a stand-up meeting at 9 AM, which, when I look at this footage, I seem to take quite casually. But casual and relax is the very first thing I will talk about in this video of 5 things that I love about Norwegian culture and this particular company. The entire Norwegian society could be described as casual, even though Norway is one of the richest countries in the world according to some statistics. And on these stand-ups we discuss things that we worked on yesterday, what are we working on today, as well as any blockers that we might have. So far I love working here, it is so far the best place I've ever worked at. Before this startup I worked in enterprise with 300 employees, so this was quite a bit of change for me. The company name is Raven, like the bird of Odin from Norwegian mythology, and we are the best critical event management SaaS company in the world according to the Scandinavian Business Awards. Our system helps people with handling critical events. Say the electricity goes down and you need an overview over evacuation, supplies distribution, documentation, etc. Okay, so that's been today's stand-up, and today I will be working on the logout functionality of the app, of the new version of our existing app that we are migrating to. And let's do some code reviews first, and then maybe grab some lunch and do some programming. I like to split my days in 2 or 3 portions, so before lunch I do some code reviews, emails, and maybe finish up the tasks that I started on the previous day. I used to do heavy tasks in the morning and I would struggle with them for the entire day and forget to eat and leave the office frustrated, and I could not sleep and dream about it, and when I dream I could not sleep and scream about it. Now I start difficult tasks at the end of the day, so if I get stuck I would often come up with a solution while driving home or showering or watching TV. And we all try to eat together at about 12, and today I'm preparing the traditional Norwegian lunch, a few slices of crisp bread with cheese on it. But just to be different, I would go wild and make it a sandwich. Just listen to the crunchiness. At lunch, we all sit together and talk about grown-up topics. Not those grown-up topics, but more plans for weekends, movies and things. And sometimes, if I get lucky that one of my 2 friends remembers me, I would go to the city centrum and eat with them. And today I'm presenting you the most important city in Norway, the beautiful city of Bergen. Apart from being stress-free, people in Norway are as much as possible treated equally. My reason number 2. So we all sit together and eat together, regardless of the role in the company. It's actually a social no-no to present yourself better than others. You might have a role, say, of a team or a company leader, but you're not a better person because of it. And if you act like you are, people will very soon sort of avoid working with you. And it's taught from the early age. For example, teenagers and younglings would work part-time jobs, often in companies owned by their own parents. So the kids of the CEO would do regular jobs, cleaning and preparing food for others and answering phones. And we would give them tasks that we don't particularly like. I never did that actually since last Friday. Anyway, today we are ordering burgers with non-alcoholic beer because my boss might actually watch this video. Back to the office, the first thing we see here is a mess that I have on my desk, or what everybody else calls it, a drinking problem. After lunch I reserve about 3 hours for heavy lifting programming tasks, architectural decisions, or figuring out things that I still don't quite understand properly. And I tend to leave rest of the day pretty much open for some meetings or some ad hoc consultations for our younger colleagues that I am working with in our team. I do some code reviews or some smaller tasks or basically whatever comes up. And I'm trying to figure out how to properly clear the state of our application after logout. The laptop I'm using is a Dell 5550 and the 49-inch monitor, also from Dell, which is just amazing because I can fit 7 or 8 screens on it at the same time, which is very useful for web development. I have 2 or 3 consoles open at the same time, the application itself, and 1 or 2 code references that I can monitor. Since we are located near the harbor, there are a lot of boats around the office, which we do not particularly like very much, because when they forget their radars on, our Wi-Fi goes down immediately, causing mayhem and chaos in the office. And from my windows you can see that there are many electric cars in Norway. In fact, last year 83% of all personal vehicles were electric, and this year it's even higher. And the reason is that Norway is very focused on the environment and the government has made it very expensive to buy petrol cars or very cheap to buy electric ones. And talking about the prices, Norway is one of the most expensive countries to live at according to some statistics. Luckily the wages follow that trend and that is my third reason for enjoying Norway. Good living standard. And here people who work for the, say, lowest paid job can earn enough to live decently, take a vacation and work only 8 hours a day. Or 7.5 that is legally allowed. Speaking of electric cars, we got us some RC cars that we drive around the office, mainly because Nerf guns were taken way too seriously. In rest of the office we have some meeting rooms where we meet, and we have a bar and a drum set to spice up our dad jokes. Bar is here in case someone just wants to grab a bite, but the bartender makes it a double. Get it? Bite, double. And working overtime is strictly regulated. Vacation is 5 weeks a year, and companies have to actually make sure that people use their vacation. And even government saves up your money so that you have the money for vacation. And the reason low wages are not that low is that the high wages are not that high either. Usually the difference in salaries is 3 to maybe 5 times from the janitor to the CEO of the company. And there are websites where you can just check how much your boss earns or even the prime minister, which is closely monitored by the unions. And that sort of goes into my fourth point, a good work-life balance. There is a lot of focus in society on spending the quality time with your family. For example, while I was pretending to work to film this video, my boss came by to see if there is anyone in the office late in the evening. He is now on his 6 months full paid paternity leave with his daughter, probably playing with dolls and Legos. But generally people are not stressed with work, so they have no problem coming to the office voluntarily in their free time if they so desire. Since I grew up in Serbia, where my family traveled to vacation 2 times in my life, I definitely noticed the difference. That is why after work I, as pretty much everybody else, try to spend my time with my family. I usually wake up at 7:30, 7:40, okay 7:50 in the morning, and my wife is already gone for work, so I deliver my boy to the kindergarten. He's now grown enough to ride motorcycle with me, so I drop him off to the kindergarten on the bike, which he just loves. And also other kids think it's cool, and to be honest, if a bunch of 3 years old think you're a cool dad, that is what really matters. On motorcycle I can drive around the traffic and it takes me about 15 minutes to reach the office. But sometimes I would take electric city train when I need some peace and quiet. Again, part of the Norwegian culture. Also, the side effect of all electric cars and buses is that this is how busy hours in the city centrum sound like. My wife picks up the kid from the kindergarten and we try to do something together. Today it's very nice weather, so we will fire up some instant barbecue and enjoy the day. In the evening, when the kid falls asleep, I usually spend some time with my wife and we watch some movies or something. Or we would both work on our studies, answer emails or work on some other projects. And that brings us to my final point, self-development, which is very encouraged in the society and in my company. People would often change or gain additional qualification, study in their 40s or 50s, and work on themselves and learn something new. Universities are practically free in Norway, and it's common for companies to give free days for exams and preparation for exams, and even send people to courses on company expense. I'm currently studying management on the Arctic University in Tromsø, and I take all courses and exams online. And I do learn a lot. When I'm not studying for the exam, I would learn programming on my own by making YouTube videos and tutorials. The only things that make it difficult is that I have quit it, which made some of my colleagues quite sad.
I can still see you, it's a glass door.
What could a programmer possibly have in common with a photographer? Or with a mechanic, perhaps? Well, watch it right now.